Welcome to the Great Awakening Show. I am Joanne, Divine Life Yogini, and on this week's show, we have Jean Nolan. Jean is an awakened, inspired man who, along with his wife, Kristin, created the Inspired YouTube channel with videos that help and support, educate and elevate, entertain and exhilarate. Their Inspired channel website assists you to empower yourself, discover your purpose, and to experience practical spirituality with inspired coaching, courses, and retreats.
UK Health Radio, the station that makes you feel good.
Jean, thank you for coming on the Great Awakening Show.
Oh, it's my great pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, Joanne.
It's great. So, Jean, for our audience, we really want to know, what does this Great Awakening mean for you and for us all, this Great Awakening that we're going through?
Well, you're starting with the small questions, with the
I know
the smaller ones. Well, I think it's not one simple answer, and I believe it's not one simple answer because everyone is at their own pace experiencing things right now. But I like to peel the onion. So if you give me a couple minutes, I'll peel the onion down to the core, at least in my view. I believe there's, as you said, the Great Awakening is happening on all areas, and it's beginning in the most tangible physical field for people, realizing things are not what they thought they were, realizing that even this whole reality is not what it appears to be, or it's much, 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 much bigger, much, much more multidimensional. And so this is happening at different paces. I believe it's been going on for much longer than people realize. But what is happening now, as opposed to 10, 15, 20 years ago, is just the pace, the intensity. It's, I always say it used to be, when we would talk to people and they would come to and my wife, Kristin, and I, we would do seminars and beautiful meetings 10, 15 years ago. And I remember it was like a process for people, 6 months, a year, where they finally kind of started to grasp, see who they really are, what's going on. Now this sometimes happens in weeks with people. I'm just astonished at the pace, at the intensity. And so basically for me, it's like, imagine, we're in the grand scheme of things, we're kind of still newborns, and we're opening our eyes and beginning to see what really is. And that's the first big step, really, to see what is. And then the next step in the awakening process is, as so many are already doing, is what do we really desire to create, for ourselves and for the whole game here? What do we really want? Because so far we've been running on default, we've been just going with the program as a collective. And now the question is, what do we want to create? Because we need to answer that question now. It's here. The urgency is here.
Yes, and it is so urgent. It is so urgent, and I really believe the intensity is just becoming faster and faster, and so many things get exposed, and as disclosure comes on all levels, because it is spiritual, but it's a physical, human rights stand up. It's every way. It's in every single system that people are awakening, and I think it's becoming more and more tense as the other people, wake up. It's like spreading, and it's unstoppable, isn't it?
Oh, it's absolutely unstoppable. But there are, I don't think there's a trajectory that doesn't include this path. I don't think there's a possibility that this can be stopped. However, there's definitely all kinds of things and ideas underway to at least slow it down. And I think that's what we're seeing now. If you will, there has been a war on for our minds and our souls for a very, very long time, right? And so, and this force has positioned itself very, very strategically. And now last year, it was the attack, a global attack, if you will. But for a reason that most people don't understand, they needed, or this force needed to act in that way because there was so much awakening, so much freedom going on, so much opening of the mind, so much opening of the heart going on, and that does not align with this plan that it's unfolding. So I believe for us, and you know, whether you want to label that or not, light workers, or it doesn't really matter what you label it. I believe for us, it's a matter of also stepping out of this idea that there is, you know, nothing that we need to do. I believe we need to take inspired action in many fields. You know, it
Yes.
starts with
Yes.
aligning daily. It starts with
Yeah.
from within,
Mm-hmm.
meditation, connecting with the creator,
Mm.
but also tangible, inspired action in the physical realm. You know, what do we do in the world? Are we stepping into fields that we previously didn't? Are we going into fields like politics? Are we spreading into every area of life and actually taking inspired action? I believe that's important.
That's so true. That is so true. And it is about inspired action. We can't just sit back and, you know, oh, God is going to sort this out. Yes, there's going to be divine intervention because this is a light versus dark, a good versus evil war that's going on. But this darkness, the dark ones, the corrupt ones, the controllers, if you like, they have suppressed us for so many years. But this energy that is coming in, you know, this light energy coming in from the cosmos, from Gaia herself as she ascends, it's just awakening so many and allowing us to go down them avenues, allowing us to take that stand, allowing us, you know, to go within and to change ourselves, to change our work, to change our relationships, to change everything. And that inspired change within, it's like earth peace through self peace. Change within helps to change without, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. You put it beautifully. And I believe we need to allow ourselves to, you know, be open to the possibility that we're way more powerful than we thought we were, way
Yeah.
more powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And that the spectrum of our capabilities, the spectrum of our frequency is so much broader. And there's only really one tool, one force, one weapon that this dark force has, and that is to keep us in a state of soul and mind sickness that makes us believe we're nothing, we're small, we're powerless. Right? This is the only tool. It's fear. It's really
Yeah.
fear, fear, fear. And once people, even for a few minutes, step out of fear, if they find a way, whether that's in meditation or it's it's something that happens to them, once they can feel their power for just a few minutes, everything changes, because they can never resort to something less than that anymore. Once you feel your power, you cannot go back to feeling powerless. And so this is the path of courage right now that people need to take, understanding you can't see the road yet fully. You know, it's just, there's just a little path right in front of you that's illuminated, and it's the path of courage that you need to walk, because we're forging this thing, we're creating this. And then there's another aspect that, and you know, this is what I believe, what I've studied, what I've come to believe, is that our light that we shine has way more effect than we believe. I believe we're interacting with all, not just all beings, but planets, stars, with the sun. I believe we have a constant interaction. And if our light is dim, those lights get dimmer too. So we as humans, we are so important, and it comes from within. It, you know, the I don't know what belief system, you know, many of your listeners and viewers subscribe to, but it doesn't really matter as long as you realize it's not external, it's internal. That
Yeah.
you know, whether that's Jesus, the Christ consciousness, the return of the Christ consciousness is really the
Inside.
within.
It's not,
It's
there's not a man coming to save us on the 3D. You know, it's all about going
no.
within and finding that, isn't it? That inner working.
I do believe that at this time you see, you know, beautiful men and women that are walking the planet that embody this in a pure way, which again, you know, shows others what this feels like. You know, as role models, if you will. So that is happening, but it isn't. Oh my God, there's a savior outside of me, has all the wisdom, all the knowledge, and I'm just going to do what they say. We need to reconnect to our inner compass, to our moral compass, to our spiritual compass, and trust, that this ability is within us.
Yeah. And that has been suppressed so long, by religions and outside, always saying that we are not divine, we are less than, we are sinners, and you have to always, you cannot go to that divine place. You have to follow us to find God.
Yeah.
When we have that within us, we are this powerful, amazing, being. And I'm a Kundalini Kriya yoga teacher. So, igniting that divine flame and raising that up, that's what we're all here for. And we are shining, as you say, shining lights. And I think this great awakening has flicked them on. It's like one flicks and then the other one sees it and then the other one sees it. And it's beautiful, isn't it?
It's beautiful and contagious, as you said. It's something that we see this every day. My wife Kristin and I, we have a YouTube channel called Inspired.
Yeah.
And when we connect with the Inspired tribe on many different levels, and people are, and this is probably the most beautiful thing of them all. It's of course there's a tribe that watches, that listens, that interacts, but people are changing their lives, literally changing their lives. Because that's the thing. It isn't enough to know. Dr. Joe Dispenza says it beautifully. He says it's not just a time to know, it's a time to know how and then to do it right. And that to me is the key point. There are more and more people in the world today that see things for what they are, but they're not changing anything on the inside. They're not changing anything about their habits. They're not healing their hearts, which is this is a time of healing for us. If you've been brought into this world, and if you grew up here in this world, there's a great chance you've experienced some sort of trauma just because of how our system is built,
Yes.
just because of how all these belief systems work. So it's a time to heal and a time to allow yourself to heal. And that's what I believe can cause a quantum leap in this awakening process. If people because the suffering comes from not healing. The healing part is short. You know this.
Yeah.
Once you go there, once you face that fear of feeling
that dark night, once you go through that, and delve into that shadow,
that's fairly short. And if you can forgive, if you go deep enough and can forgive whatever happened, whether you have to forgive yourself, forgive someone else, that's an inside job. You experience a quantum leap in your life. It's like literally being liberated. People tell this over and over again. It's like a weight lifted off my heart, my shoulders. And that the opportunity, the energy window is here for this to happen on a mass scale, right?
Yes. Mm.
And what we want to do is just encourage people to go there. Their lives might change completely, and everything they've been hoping, wishing, desiring for then begins to truly come into their lives, because they are in that frequency again, that natural frequency,
Which is the God frequency, which is the natural living man, living woman of the earth frequency. This is our natural. It's simple. It's just having that beautiful alignment of heart, mind, and soul, isn't it? It's yes.
Well, exactly. And that's kind of the I've been following all developments in the quote unquote spiritual community for a long time. And I believe even here, in the freer spiritual community, it's still been infiltrated.
Yeah.
And the idea is, or the people have is, if I think about something hard enough, if I script it often enough, if I affirm it often enough, I'm going to pull this in my reality. I'm going to get what I want. And I understand the desire for that. But I can tell you that more than anything, that's a truth in my life, has always been in every life that I've had the pleasure to interact with. You do not get what you want, you get what you are.
Yeah.
You get what you are.
It's your
what
vibration
you, really
you give out, isn't it?
And that you cannot fake. You see, you can fake a thought, you can fake something that you tell to someone, you can fake, being positive, you can fake that, but you cannot fake the vibration.
No,
that's impossible.
No, because it's just a natural feeling, and it's you're either having that positive, wonderful, aligned vibration, and then you're giving that out, you're emitting that out, or you're in that negative state, that ego state is taking you over again. You know, and I think that this time is really a time of, well, the contrast and the suffering is forcing people to change in a beautiful way. It's bringing us to that precipice that we've been holding on to, and there's no other way. It forces us to go into that beautiful direction, and it is a dissolving of that ego state, isn't it? And I call that the darkness where them evil ones are. You know, whatever it is, you know, that Satan place, that evil place. It's just them dark, negative, you know, feelings, and then awakening to the heart. And it's a time of opening that heart and coming from that heart, being your true, authentic self. It's so beautiful. You know, not hiding anything, just being who you really are. I think this is what it's all about, coming home to you.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly it. I think, you know, authenticity, we've been living in an era of identity. You know, what do you identify with? You look for something on the outside that you might find attractive or shiny, and then you want to be like that or want to get that. And this is the era of authenticity, which means that uniqueness, because you are unique. We're all unique. I always say this is like a puzzle of 8 billion pieces. You know, and that's just the human aspect of it, or just man and women. You know, and when you live your authentic true self, then you live up to that puzzle piece that you are, and then the picture is beautifully put together. I believe that's how harmony eventually, you know, will play out on this level. But it is authenticity, and authenticity means that you heal and come to this natural level, like you said. And I believe our natural state of being is love, is kindness, is abundance, you know, is also a sort of enlightenment, if you will, connection. But authenticity also means that you allow yourself to see things what they are, you know, and not fear to see. And there are things still to see and heal in our physical realm that are just horrific. And yes. I don't believe in turning a blind eye to that.
No.
I believe when you are in that light, when you feel this empowerment, step into it, bring that light to those places.
Yes.
That's the healing power, you know.
Yes.
Illuminate it and help those who need help. I think we have this opportunity to show compassion, true compassion, not pitying someone, you know, not viewing them as victims that can't heal, but true compassion, true soul to soul compassion.
Yeah, that's so true. And everyone at some point will turn towards that. Will turn towards that light, won't they? This is what it is. But we can't just. It's a doing of the work. It's an inner work job, isn't it? You know.
Well, that's where it begins in my. I think, you know, for the longest time, we in our work on the outside, we limited ourselves somewhat, because I felt what I want to put out, you know, we do 3 live streams a week, and we put out videos, and we work with people one-on-one in groups. And I always felt my greatest responsibility, if I'm going to step out and actually teach people something, show them something, I need to be pure.
Yeah.
I need to be pure and know who I am and be 100% sure of who I am.
Yes.
And I believe that's you know, that level of authenticity is what people are craving for, you know, that in their lives, and they want to experience that. It feels good.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter. When you're authentic, you can even talk about something that isn't pleasant. And even then, people don't lose that feeling of that feeling of comfort, or it still feels good to be in the presence, even though this person is talking about something that is not really beautiful, not nice.
That's true.
But because they are authentic.
Yeah. And they're expressing their true light, their true soul. It's coming from the open heart. It's the truth. It comes from your soul. It doesn't come, you know, you can tell when people are in that ego place, and it's the false light. You can tell because you have that intuition, and people, they come away from that. You know, it's not real, isn't it? And in this time, I believe it's all about the best thing anyone can give is of themselves, is of their
Absolutely.
true self. That's all it is. It's not rocket science,
No.
it's so simple, just to strip away everything and come from, just be raw, just be you, in this moment as this living human divine soul having this experience. And I think
Right.
this is what we're coming into, this truth reality. I love it.
Oh, and there's this other aspect that, at least we see a lot of times people struggle with, which is, what is my purpose?
Yeah.
And in our view, in our world, purpose has been reduced to something big, something, you need to be on the world stage. If you have a purpose, you need to be seen, millions of people need to follow you, you need to have this celebrity status. And this couldn't be further from the truth. First of all, I don't believe we just have one purpose. I believe we move from purpose to purpose. We might have a fundamental life energy, something that is really important in this lifetime, something that we really want to embody in this lifetime. Yes. But being on purpose to me means that I'm in tune with that guidance, and I feel, okay, today I won't take the same path I take every day. Today I'll turn right. Because I'm guided to do that. That's, to me, being on purpose. Today I encounter this person, I can do something for them. Might not be something in it for me, it doesn't matter. But that's, to me, what it means to be on purpose. And people so often struggle with that because they think, oh, that's too small. What I'm doing is not enough. It cannot mean that I'm on purpose. And yes, absolutely. Purpose is this connection, feeling that guidance and living up to it. And that's really the part. So many people feel the guidance and they go against it. They go against it because their rational mind says, no, this cannot be so, or this won't take me where I want to go. Just trust it. It's a time of basically, putting a blindfold on and just feeling
Yeah.
your way.
Yeah.
What's being put in front of you. Feel it.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
your intuition. That's your inner guidance. That's your inner guidance. It's like, I call it blind faith.
It is blind faith.
Blind faith. That's what we're going along. And it's going to illuminate. The more you trust in it, that's God, that's divine, that's source, that beckoning you, your angels and all your guides helping us in all realms. And to have that, faith moves, what is it, the mustard seed, it moves mountains. And that's what it is. That's what it is. And it's just but having that faith within oneself, and having, in small ways, just having that connection with another human being when you walk out of that door. That's so important at this time, because so many people are going through a lot of suffering
On all levels. And as someone who's gone through suffering myself, and I don't really believe there's anyone on this earth today that hasn't, in one way
Yeah.
or another. The level might be different, but we're all experiencing it. And I've seen many different sides of life, and I can tell you that from my background, how I was brought up, it was very much a push hard mentality. You just push hard, eventually it's gonna be okay. And this does not work anymore. Whether,
No.
I don't even know that it has ever really worked, but now it doesn't work. And it was not until I surrendered into long, deep states of meditation, I was at a point where nothing that I physically did, no plan that I could come up with, no blueprint worked. It doesn't matter what I did, how hard I worked, it doesn't matter how many hours I put in, and it just did not work. It was dead end after dead end after dead end. And eventually, years and years ago, I just surrendered. I decided, okay, I need to go to this place that only I can go to. No one can do this for me. No one can go there for me. And I went, and I started meditating daily, and sometimes for hours, because I figured if nothing that I do works anyway, I might as well do nothing
Yeah.
and just leave it to the universe, because it's not working anyway. So I went into this deep state every day. Sometimes it worked better, sometimes not so much, but I I just surrendered. I committed to that. I committed to going there every day. And I truly found this eternal peace within me that I had only ever had glimpses of before, and once you really allow this to move through you, even when there is a stressful situation in your life, that never leaves you anymore. It's like you can return to that immediately. And that's when things began to fall into place. And that's what I meant earlier. And like you said it so beautifully too. When you come to this authentic true self, and I know for some people this sounds so, how do I get there? What is it? Explain it better. It's a surrendering to a deeper realm that you cannot really describe. There's no words really to describe what happens when you're so deep, what happens when you have an activation. There's words for it. You say Kundalini, and different cultures have different words for that. But basically what it means, you're just beginning to become again who you were meant to be in the first place. And I mean, this on this level, it's funny. We get now, our channel has grown pretty quickly on YouTube,
Yes.
and pretty fast. And it's a beautiful experience, but we get those emails and people eager to grow our business. And what's your business model? I don't have a freaking business
I just
model.
put it on and I was inspired. That's, and it just went because you were speaking truth, and people want to hear that. Yes.
It's just literally what the creator puts in front of us, on a daily. Like I before I even wake up every morning, I give thanks for this guidance. I give
Yeah.
thanks for it's coming through me, and how may I
Yeah.
serve today? And it's been put in front of us. And that's the business model, because it isn't a business.
Yeah.
And we've had businesses before with business plans, business models, and marketing budgets. No, we don't have that anymore. And people laugh because from a linear marketing mind, it's like, what does that mean? So how do
Yeah.
you do things? It means, I don't know what's going to be put in front of me 2 weeks from now. I just know I'm going to show up for it.
It's an organic, trusting, faithful process. And Jean, you are so right. It's nothing. Same as me in my life. Nothing worked for so many years. I tried so many things until I came back home and spent that time. And when I go into that meditation and touch that divine light, that divine love, light energy within, and it just encompasses me, and I just stay there, and the divine downloads everything we need in that moment, in that time, because that's the time of listening. We can pray, which is a form of asking, which is in our intentions and putting it out there. But then having that quiet time is when we allow it to come into us. And that's when it started working for me too, because we allowed the divine in.
It's a completely different way of approaching it. I mean, you could go more scientific and call it quantum and go, but it's all the same thing. It's different minds find different expressions, so different people can relate to it, and that's totally fine. I believe that's the beauty of our time. Whether you come from a more analytical, scientific side, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
As I said, there are people out there that are doing it beautiful. Someone like Dr. Joe Dispenza is doing it beautifully, or Dr. Bruce Lipton. They're like, they're showing people the science so they can have a peace of mind, literally peace of mind.
Yeah.
Okay, this is scientific.
Yeah.
And then they leave, and then
it's because they're not mentioning God, but through that, I know that Joe Dispenza, he's having these mystical, amazing things happening to him. And he says they are of divine, they are mystical, they are beautiful. This is what it's all about. And I believe, the quantum world is the divine mind. That's what it is. And when we touch upon that, our thoughts from our magic mind and our sacred heart, they go out and they go into that quantum divine mind. And that's how we manifest and co-create with the divine. But it's all the same thing.
Absolutely.
Science and spirituality are the same. It's the same thing.
I believe we'll eventually move out of this. And I believe that's kind of it was part of the mind sickness. So here's my view. I believe we were brought into paradise, right? I believe originally we were brought into this paradise. Heaven. Everything is here. And our sole job was to first find joy in the observation and then co-create, with that divine power. And that was an inside job. It was never about tangible. It was never about cutting down trees and building stuff. It was a creative, from the same mind that created it all. And I believe eventually we're, I don't know how long this is going to take in our time quality that we perceive, but eventually we're going to move out of this idea that we need to cut everything open and kill things to understand them, and analyze everything to death, and take it out of context, because that's what we do when we analyze stuff. When you take an animal, and you bring it out of its natural state, and you bring it into a laboratory, and then you cut it open and analyze it, you cannot perceive what this animal and the organism is about, because you've just removed it from its natural state. So it will just give you whatever you might be looking for in that moment. But that's what we do. We take something that's part of the whole, compartmentalize it, and try to find its meaning. It doesn't work like that. And that's where I think this dark forest has done a great job. It has created disciplines like biology and chemistry and physics, and it's all one thing. But you just look at this isolated thing here, and you cannot perceive the whole. And this is what's happened in a more spiritual realm as well. We look at one dogma, we look at one way of viewing things, and our minds are trapped in that way. If you're brought up in the, whether that's Christian or Muslim or what, it doesn't matter. When you're brought up with that, it isn't that it changes the truth that you are connected to all that is. It just changes that you can't see it, because you're taught that there's a divine creator somewhere out there, and that divine creator can either be loving or punishing or hating, or and it's all, you're not worthy, you're a sinner, and you just make sure you don't offend that creator. If you're brought up in that mindset, that's all you're ever going to believe and do. And so it's not about mocking religions. It's more about understanding there's a human or non-human human element that has, like you said in the beginning, taken over the interpretation of that. And that's why I say the only way you can overcome that is to go within and find that path yourself. You just have to feel it yourself. There's no other way.
There is no other way. And for me, many religions, organized religion, they are man-made. So they have been corrupted over the many years of being in this duality and this world of suffering. So spirituality is our soul, which is our true religion. It's who we are, that divine flame that we have within. And that's why looking out there, everyone will go out and they'll go to this religion and that religion and this book and that guru and that leader and everyone. But eventually all of that seeking is a self-seeking within, isn't it?
Well, I believe sometimes, people have never learned to trust themselves or their inner voice. They have never heard that before. They've never been introduced to the concept. They've also never been introduced to some sort of ritual for healing, for soul healing. It's not part of our culture. We don't do that. I mean, the best we came up with is to go to some sort of specialist that now prescribes drugs. That's it. There's no So I believe sometimes people just seek out other healers or teachers, because those teachers appear to be something external, when it's really their inner voice that's finding a different way of speaking to them. That to me is the joy in this, really. It's true. When you follow that, you just look for that person that's really just saying what your higher guidance is saying through them. So it's really gonna come back to you. That's always eventually that's always the path. So we're having this conversation with ourselves through others so many times,
because everyone is a mirror.
Yeah.
Everyone's a mirror to us, aren't they? We're a mirror to everyone.
Well, I mean, I've yet to disprove it. I sometimes feel like, I'm observing this person, I really see no connection, but there's always a connection. There's always something. It might not be what I can perceive in that moment, but there's always some value in that interaction, some value in that observation. But it is that, and most importantly, it's for people to trust what, every teacher that's really good will say, when you go within, you'll get ideas, you'll get inspirations, you'll get hunches. And whether your life is going to be magical or not, it depends on whether you're going to follow those hunches or not, whether you're going to, take that inspired action that you have just received. And that's the crux of it all. Today, people are forced, like you said, they're literally forced because the outer reality is playing out so forcefully, and it's saying, okay, you either do this and this and this and that, or we're going to take away everything that you believe is security, money, job, payment, housing, maybe for some people. It's getting pretty rough in some ways. And what I want to encourage people to do is that, or to realize is, if you truly trust that inner knowing, if you know what in your heart, what is right and what isn't for you, and you trust that, things will work out for you. And you won't be able to plan ahead of time how they will work out for you, because your mind cannot think in this multidimensionality. It's limited. As long as it's disconnected, it's very limited. But if you can trust, there's a path that's going to appear for you, but you just have to walk it. And that's to me, that's literally the most important thing right now for people to walk that. And I've seen too many give in to the fear and regretting it. It's sort of like, when you're talking about, I call it medical rape, what is happening, or medical force right now.
Terrible.
But I see a very similar reaction that people have, just like when when people try to commit suicide, and they always describe the same things when they survive. They describe, the moment I did it, the moment I jumped, the moment I took the pill, whatever, I regretted it. That instant I regretted it. And that's the same thing people are describing now.
Yes.
They gave in, they immediately regretted afterwards, because they went against their guidance.
Exactly.
They went against their guidance.
And I believe when you're in that aligned state of being, of following your intuition and being in that alignment, no negative energies can get into you or harm you or make you or coerce you or make you do anything against your will, because you are in your higher evolutionary sovereign self, and you cannot be touched when you're in that place, because them dark negative forces, they only prey on the ones who have weak minds, weak hearts. They're not in their alignment. So this is the time for us to own our sovereignty and to stand up and say, no, I do not consent. No, I do not comply. I will stand up for my children. That's what's happening in England right now in the schools, and it's just so many. But you see, this is another level of awakening for parents, ordinary people. No, I don't want that happening to my children. That's not going to, how can they do this? This without the parents' consent. Without the parents' consent. No way. And this is awakening so many parents. The head teachers are getting so many letters, liability and all the lawyers and all the common law. It's a raising up. It's a grassroots raising up of non-consent and not allowing, taking our power back.
Oh, big time. And I don't want to sound like someone who's just, a philosopher full of shit, just talking something. And I do walk my talk. I put this to the test many years ago. I went through, as so many of us, many different layers of awakening, awakening to the legal system, awakening when you realize who you are. Yeah. You go, no, you can't really tell me what to do. I'm a free being. I'm a sovereign being. I harm no other beings. I seek to give to the whole, not take. So when you realize that, you go, no, I don't really play along with all these rules and regulations, all this crap.
It's all fraud.
And so when that sovereignty awakening happened within me, at first it was kind of the rebel inside of me that said, okay, I'm going to drive around, no license plates, no, and just
not pay my bills. I'm not paying taxes. Yeah.
And we really stepped outside of the system. But that initial rebel phase was very short, and then I moved into a clear knowing, okay, I know who I am, so I'm going to express myself in that way. And I had we went and helped people and had experiences from, with police, with courts, with everything you can possibly imagine. Because of the work we used to do back in Europe and Austria, we were on many lists and observed by many different agencies and all that stuff. And when I encountered these people that would scare the shit out of you if you were in a fearful state,
Yes.
these are intimidating people if you are in that fearful state. But when I encountered them from who I really am, there was love. I radiated love because I had nothing to lose. I had just to give, and I radiated love, and we radiated love. And these situations, threats, everything dissolved. Everything dissolved around us, and we didn't even have to take action to it. Just went away. It just dissolved, because ultimately these forces understand when they encounter something that's way brighter, way more powerful, they have only two choices. They can either move away, or they can try to live up to that level. There's only those two things, and it's too much of a discrepancy, this fear system and this who you really are.
Yeah.
And that's why I can only encourage. We have 3 children, and they're out of the school system now. They're done with school, which we're happy now, because but we've gone through many different stages of that, and I can only encourage every parent, especially when you're a parent, think like, just go for a moment 10 years, 15 years into the future, when your child's an adult, and when they have the ability to perceive the whole situation. How do you want them to view you when they look back?
Yes.
What do you think? What kind of choices will make them proud later on when they look at you as a parent and they go, thank you for doing this?
Yes.
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 Think about what that conversation is 10, 15 years into the future, and as just a mind exercise. And then because then you'll know what to do. Move into your heart and realize you're a sovereign being.
Yes.
There's no one above you that has the right to diminish you into a place where you need to submit to something you don't want to do. It's as simple as that. You are as sovereign as everyone else. The difference is, when you realize it, you become empowered. When you don't realize it, you are small and you will give in to that pressure.
Yes.
But when you are empowered, you rise above it, and you will not just see a favorable outcome for you. You'll be a leader for others that will follow that light and say, I'm going to do that too now. I see it now. I feel it now. This is it. It's not fight. It's not violence. It's not, we're going to crush them.
Yeah, love overcomes everything.
Yes.
When it's always in that passive place and coming from the heart, it's always going to be a win-win situation.
Yes. And that's how you need to go into this. And it's an inside job, like we've been saying.
It is. It's a learning.
In this conversation.
Yeah, I know. And it's a learning. And the more I'm learning about natural law as a living woman of the earth and a living man of the earth, and we have, God's law, divine law, the law of the land. This is who we really are. And everything else has just been a construct, a man-made construct to keep us in this matrix. And when you understand about your true freedom and your true sovereignty, it just suddenly all fits into place. And you're like, no. And
exactly.
If you stay in that beautiful high vibe place and keep doing the things to keep you high vibe every day, because every day is a choice. You can wake up and you can choose to stay in your high vibe, wonderful place of love and be there, or you can go back into that ego place and stay in that victim place. Because it is, that's the victim place, isn't it? Where you allow others to control you, where you allow the world to control your life and your thoughts and your feelings. Or you can be the master and have mastery over your thoughts and feelings, and then be a co-creator. And it's and you feel so brilliant once you do it, because you know that, and it's a feeling. And then you meet your tribe, you meet others who are there as well. and then you just vibe on that tribe with everyone else. And it's like, wow, this is what the new earth is. This is what the Great Awakening is. So, Jean, I want you to ask, just describe a little bit, how do you see this new earth? What beautiful things are going to be in our new earth?
Okay, I'm gonna bring back a memory of the future here. That is, coming from a timeless space. I believe we are. I know people say we're going into this new place, but I believe we're actually returning to a natural state.
Yeah.
That is what we really do, and for that we need to understand that all the stories we've been told, the history we've been told, is inverted, and
Yep.
we have already experienced. We already experienced this. We had this beautiful culture, this beautiful peaceful coexistence, thriving, and I see a future that is very much aligned with nature. I see a lot of people spending their days outside. I see people rediscovering the divinity in every little leaf, the divinity in every creation, in every piece of creation. And I see people just simply surrendering to that divinity. And that, to me, is going to unleash so much wisdom inside of them. So I see children of the future that are, running the meadows in their bare feet, and that are learning underneath the blue sky, that are discovering for themselves, that are reconnecting to the creator, that are teaching the adults, that are
Yeah.
showing them the path. And I also see a very minimal role of technology in that future.
Yes.
There's this path that we see now that's pushed for hyper merger, artificial intelligence, transhumanism.
Yeah.
I see this path that we're going to have technology. For certain things, it's going to be assisting us in some ways, but it's not going to play a major role in our lives. I see that, and I see people living in self-reliance.
Yes.
Being able, having all the
Communities.
abilities, yes,
Yeah.
and being able to sustain themselves beautifully.
Yeah. Without.
And yes. So I truly, this is the vision, and I always, at some point in every interview, I always encourage everyone, if you haven't yet, please read the Ringing Cedar books by Vladimir Megre, the Anastasia books. If you've never heard of them, if your listeners, viewers have never heard of them, my wife and I read them some 10, 12 years ago. It is the most beautiful vision, the most complete, non-dogmatic. It's open, it's free, it's just absolutely stunning. And I can't even describe it, but imagine reading a book that truly changes your life forever, or 10 books actually, it changes your life in ways you couldn't even imagine, awakens something very, very natural within you. And I align with the vision that is portrayed in the books, simply because it embodies everything I just said. It's pure freedom, it's self-reliance, it's living up to our true divine potential inside of us. And I can't bring myself to see another future. Even if I tried, I can't bring myself to see another future.
It's a knowing. It's a knowing, because we create it. We create hell here, or we create heaven. And we've already been through the hell. So now it's time to create heaven here, isn't it?
Yes.
So beautiful. So beautiful.
Yes, absolutely.
And please just give our audience some beautiful guidances and advice on going through this great shift.
Yes. I'll say what I always say. There's things, go within every morning. Start your day. Don't pick up your phone first thing. Don't look at anything else. Go within. And it doesn't have to be complicated. Go within and connect with your creator, whatever that looks like for you. The universe, the field, the quantum, God, does not matter what you name it. And just give thanks for guidance. Give thanks, and imagine there's this beam of light that's shining through you, and it gives you guidance in every aspect of your life. And then just do it.
Yeah.
All the rules that you've been told about the world, about what you need to do, what you need to accomplish, the, retirement funds, and it's all going to be completely different. I can promise you that. Nothing's going to be the way this system said it was. So connect with that which has sustained life forever, which has created everything. Connect with that. That's going to give you that guidance. And if you're one of those beings that is already settled in that energy, feels balanced, help others. I mean, don't waste your time with people that have completely closed hearts and minds. That's useless. But for those who are on the fence, for those who are already peaking, help them. Simply help them. This is the task of our day. Help them in more clarity. Show them maybe how to meditate, and go out into nature and find that awe that you had as a child. Look at nature. Look at as a child, you might have climbed up the tree and you were just within it. You were just engulfed in it and a part of it. And we are a part of it. We are part of nature. We're not disconnected from it. And the thing is, that wisdom's going to come to you then. When you're in it, it's going to show up. It's going to,
it does. The trees give you
sometimes.
So much inspiration and so much wisdom, and they raise your vibration. Being with the mother, walking barefoot on the mother, she raises your vibration. She heals you. And it's been proven, scientifically proven, so
at all times. The mother always, even in places that we have truly, destroyed in many ways, even then, when you connect, the mother is always there to heal you. The father is always there to assist you, to guide you. We have that. And that's the key part in this time, to trust that. And it might go against the logic that you've been instilled with from well-meaning people in your life. But that's the path I walk. That's the path we walk. And it has brought wonders into our lives.
Yes.
That's why I can say this with confidence.
Yes.
I've walked both paths. One works beautifully, one didn't work at all.
Yeah. So you're just telling exactly what happened to you, and it's beautiful, because it's all about connection, not separation. Connection,
exactly.
Unity,
exactly.
Oneness, merging. Oh, wow. Honestly, Jean, thank you for your wonderful divine wisdom and knowledge. And really, thank you just for being on the Great Awakening Show.
Oh, thank you so much. It's my honor. And thank you for your beautiful light you're shining and that you're bringing out every day in every way. And just the joy. See, and then this is, maybe in closing, this is a good example. What we have just done is we've just see how far we can expand within 45, 50 minutes.
Yes.
How far can we expand our hearts and our minds,
Yes.
And hey, we have added a little bit to the grand vision here today.
Yes.
And that, so can you. And every day,
Everyone.
Whoever you are that you're watching, so can you. That same spark is within you.
Exactly.